If you had the 5 essentials that you need to know in order to scale to 6 figure per month, also the things that you don't do in order not to fumble the bag, and the exact blueprint of how to get there, would that be valuable to you? If the answer is yes, stick to this video because I'm going to show you exactly what are the 5 essential things that you need to scale pretty much any business to 100K per month. What are the things that you absolutely need to avoid it, right? So you don't fumble the bag or not get where you want to be. And also at the end of the video, we're going to cover exactly what is the blueprint or the roadmap to get to 6 figure per month. Okay. If you don't know who I am, my name is Javi and I specialize in the financial niche. Anybody that is in the credit, funding, insurance, and even tax and want to scale to 6 figure per month, that's what this channel is all about, getting you from 10K to 100K per month. Now, this video might be a little bit longer than others. So, sit tight. If you anything, speed up the speed of the video, put it at 1.5 or something, so you can go through it quickly. Okay, so let's get right into it. First, we're gonna cover what are the 5 essentials that you absolutely need if you want to scale to 6 figure per month. Then I'm gonna show you what are the things you don't do, or pretty much the things to avoid, right? And then I'm gonna give you the blueprint. Okay, so the first thing that if you want to hit 100K per month is a scalable offer, right? One offer that deserves 100K per month. You can't scale noise. You need an offer that solves a painful problem with measurable results, not education, but we can get you funded. We can 10x your client LTV, right? So you need to promote something. You need to solve a painful issue in order to get the results. That's why I help a bunch of different companies add funding as a service, because funding is such a scalable business model. Because who doesn't need more capital to either start or scale the business, or just any individual, right? Who doesn't need 30 to 250 grand of 0% interest in order to scale or start the business? I will say almost everybody. I was watching this researching this thing that it said almost 80, it was like 87 to 92% of businesses all are looking for capital. So that's a really good sign, right? So the demand is there. You're just putting yourself in front of the demand, which is the easiest way if you want to scale to 6 figure months, is having a very demandable offer. So solving a very painful problem, okay? Has strong perceived value. Clients see 10K as cheap for the outcome, meaning that like even if they pay you 10 grand or 5 grand to 10 grand, right? This is usually what the prices of funding services range to, from lowest 4K to highest 10K. I mean, I've seen actually higher than 10K because sometimes we charge 10% of the back end. But when they see that the price of the offer is relatively cheap to the outcome, that's when you know you have a banger, okay? It could be dealing without constant involvement. This is a very, very important thing. If it's too complex, it's very difficult to scale. Example, turn your done with offer into a hybrid model where 80% runs on system. This is something that I actually did a couple years ago. I had more of a done with you service. Then I turned it more into a done with you and done for you service. So it's a hybrid offer. It's a more scalable offer, and clients get results faster because there's a portion of the program that is done for them. Okay. So that's something you have to absolutely have. And for us, for the financial industry, it's business funding. That's why we help credit companies, tax consultants, even insurance businesses add funding as a service so they could increase LTV, make more per client by doing less. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The second thing that you absolutely need in order to scale is a scalable acquisition system. You can't rely on referrals and random posts anymore. You need a traffic engine, Meta plus YouTube or TikTok, with daily ad spend, 10 to 20 creative live of all time, conversion funnel, VSL or short form DM that filters qualified leads automatically, right? And then also you need a tracking system like High Rolls, Go High Level, and Spreadsheet to tell you exactly your lead flow it's coming from, your profit margins, your KPIs, right? So 10K per month is hustle, like literally you just grinding. 100K per month, it's math and systems. So I want you to be very, very conscious of this. This is the main reason why most clients join us, like over 90% of the clients that join us. Yes, they want to add funding as a service, but once we do that, they run out of clients very quickly because maybe they're reading they're selling it to their old audience or their book of business or whatever. And then okay, how do we get to the next level, right? Because the well eventually drives out. If you have a huge book of business, eventually you're going to run out of those clients and you need new clients. But the main reason why most of our clients join our program is a marketing problem, right? They're trying to solve the marketing problem. They want a client acquisition system that's predictable. And this is the reason why I love paid ads, because ads becomes very predictable, and it's a snowball effect, right? If you don't know this about running paid ads, let me quickly show you. So let's say I call this the infinite CAC loop, right? So it's one client gets you more clients. So essentially, let's say we have a 9K offer. Oh, I misspelled this. Right? So let's say client joins for 9K, they put 3K down to start, right? That 3K, you can put 1K to pay yourself, 1K to pay the team, and then one more $1,000 to acquire another client, right? And then that client brings you two more, and and then two more brings you four, and then four brings you eight, and it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. So once you acquire one client, it leads to acquiring the next, and then so on, so on, so on. So once you finally, and I have multiple videos about this going deep, that's why I don't want to review it too much. But I have other videos pretty much exactly about this. That is just one client acquisition is built inside the price, right? So let's say we're selling a 6K offer, a 10K offer, whatever the number is, right? The cost to acquire the client is built in the price. And when somebody pays you, let's say $1,000 or whatever. Let's say they start with $3,000, right? And the cost to acquire is $1,000, and they put 3K down. You can literally, especially if you're doing it alone and you're running a one-man show, meaning you're doing your own sales calls, your own fulfillment calls, your own pretty much the whole entire business, you can literally get that the 3 grand that he gave you, pay yourself $1,000, and the other 2 grand you can go acquire two more clients, right? So it just creates like a snowball effect. And then one client gets you another one, then two clients gets you four gets you eight, and so on and so on. This is how I was able to scale my company to 300K per month, by doing this strategy. Okay, so in order to scale to 6-figure a month, you absolutely need to have a scalable client acquisition system, right? It's like something that is predictable, something that if you put, let's say, X amount of dollars in, you get X amount of dollars return. Usually what we've seen is a 3 to 8 return ROAS on revenue, depending on your sales skills, okay? So that's pretty much the second thing you need in order to scale your company. The third thing you need is a closing machine, right? At 10K per month, you're your own closer. So you're pretty much doing all your sales calls, which is totally fine. But at 100K per month, you need to start bringing a closer in, right? Maybe even two. But this is pretty really important, because if you don't have this down, it's very difficult to get to that level. Now, I'm gonna be completely real with you. The first time that I hit 100K per month, I was doing my own sales, right? Which is totally fine. You could definitely do that. Like, you can be, I mean, at this level, it's very difficult to do it one person. You need either an appointment setter or a team to fulfill your calls. I mean, your sales, to fulfill your clients, because then your calendar is literally slammed with sales calls and onboarding calls and client results calls, and it's just too much, right? So you need to have a team at this point. But a closing machine, pretty much at 10K per month, you're the closer. At 100K per month, you have to build sales system that closes while you focus on strategy. So one or two closer trained to 25 to 35% close rate. This is ideal, right? Like pretty much the math, if you want to hit 6-figure months, is 20 sales calls a week at a 80% show up rate and 30% closing rate with a 5K offer. This is about 20 sales a month, meaning you're hitting 100K cash collected a month. Okay, daily review calls, use tools like Poppy AI. If you don't know what this tool is, I have videos on it. You can go check it out. Live dashboard, traffic, book calls, show up rate, closing rate, cash collected, and next steps. So this is more of KPI tracking. And if you don't have these things solved, you're pretty much burning money, right? Because if your show up rate is low, let's say 50%, it's not fully optimized, well, then half of the traffic that you're booking or the clients that you're getting in your calendar are not showing up. So those are leads that you technically pay for. So that means your cost per qualified call just double. So let's say you're tracking your data, let's say on Hyros or a spreadsheet, it tells you that your cost per book call is 200, but then 50% of your clients are not showing up, then your actual cost per book call is 400, right? Because half of the leads are not showing up. Another thing with closing rate, if your closing rate is under 20%, this dramatically increases your cost to acquire. So before you even want to think about hitting 6-figure per month, you need to optimize your closing rate, your show up rate, and your average cash on hand, meaning how much money you're getting down per call. And if you don't have this optimized, Don't scale because you're going to be burning money. I did a video about this that's coming out soon, that we worked with this sorry, we went to this mastermind, and this client was only focused on bringing more leads into the business, which we advised not to do because there was a huge problem. The actual bottleneck of the business was show up rate and closing rate. So the show up rate was dramatically low. I think it was like 47%, which is very, very low. And then their closing rate was like 16%. So it's like very difficult to scale, and you can be burning money because if you scale that model, that drop off and the pretty much the cash that you're burning from people not showing up and not closing, it's just insane. So before even scaling, you should fix and optimize these things, then scale. So when you are hitting 100K a month, you're way more profitable. Your cost to acquire are way lower. Your cost per book call is pretty much what it needs to be in order to be as profitable and as efficient as possible. A mistake I see often is that people are just focused on revenue and not profits, and this is a mistake you're gonna make. So don't do this. Who cares about revenue? Doesn't really matter. You should be optimizing for profits, and if you want to increase profits, you need to increase show up rate, closing rate, and average cash on hand. All right. Now, what is the third thing you absolutely need if you want to scale to 6 figure per month? And that is delivery that creates proof and referrals. Fulfillment is what keeps you from burning to the ground. You need a client success system with onboarding automations and proactive communication. This is extremely important. Case studies created weekly, not occasionally, templates, portals, and SOP that lets your team know that over 90% of the work is being done without you. This is extremely important. Scaling equals repeatable transformations, repeatable testimonial, and repeatable trust. Extremely important. Because if you don't have your fulfillment team and this part of the business completely locked in, all you're doing is promoting a bad brand. Like, you can spend millions of dollars on ads, make millions of dollars too, but if no one is getting results and you're just spreading negative word of mouth, eventually this is going to catch up to you and nobody's going to take you serious because you have burned so many different bridges. All right. So before even scaling, and this is for people who are stuck between 10, 20, even 30K per month, before even scaling, ask yourself, is my marketing locked in? Is my team, my closing team locked in? Is my fulfillment team locked in? And if not, fix these three before even thinking about scaling, because all you're doing is just, you're gonna grow the business, then you can have a tremendous amount of problems when you actually hit 6 figure months, okay? You're gonna hit 6 figure month, you're gonna close your first 20 deals, and it's gonna be an absolute fucking nightmare for you. I guarantee it, because it happened to me. When I first hit 300K per month, I completely destroyed the business that month. It took me another month and a half to get back to that revenue level, because we took in like 55 clients that month, which was double what we were used to, and that caused a lot of problems. So I'm telling you from my personal experience, you need to fix this before it becomes a problem, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, the last thing that you need is leadership shift, right? So let me just read it. The hardest jump is operational, it's identity. At 10K, you're a doer. At 100K, you're a builder. This is powerful stuff, guys, because nobody's gonna tell you this stuff, but it's something that you need to start adopting, because like I said, 10K per month, you're hustling. 100K per month is more math, it's more leadership, it's more teams. So you're pretty much 10x in the business. But what got you to 10K per month is not what's gonna get you to 100K per month, okay? You need to hire and lead people smarter than you in ad sales or ops. Let go of perfect and focus on momentum over position. Protect your time with rules of discipline, 20% strategy, 80% system. You need to stop making more you need to stop making more by working more and start making more by thinking better. This is pretty much when you're looking at your business, you're like, okay, what parts of my business do I need to optimize and become better? And in order for you to get to the next level, you need to start duplicating yourself, essentially. And even if somebody doesn't produce as good as you, like for example, for me in my personal company, I have a 70% closing rate. It's very difficult for me to hire a closer and hold them to that standard, because I am the founder of the business. That's what everybody sees my face, so my closing rate is high. But if somebody could do 80% of the work that you can, that's still solid. That's still technically a player, okay? So these are something that is very, very important, because if you want to scale the business, especially if you want to do 300K per month, 500K per month, $1 million per month, this is not a one-man show anymore. This is like, you know, 10 to 20 people to make this happen, especially in the sales part and fulfillment part. The more revenue you're making, the bigger the team has to be. So if you're not a leader in the space or a leader in your business, or you don't have that leader mindset of hiring and training, then you're fucked essentially. Then stay at 30K per month, and you could be a one band show, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. There's so many different of our clients that literally told me, hey Javi, I don't care about 50K per month, 100K per month, 200K per month. I just want to make at least 20 to 30K per month a month in profit, so I could travel, spend time with my family, and whatever. And I don't want all the smoke, which is totally fine. If that's you, hey, don't worry about it. You know, we all want different things, but if you want to get to that 100K per month, 200, 3, or anything above that, you need to start being a leader, because you're not going to get there alone. It's very difficult. And even if you're a complete badass in all areas of the business and you could generate like 100K per month by yourself, eventually you're going to burn out, because if it gets exhausting. If you're doing 10 calls a day, by the 6 months, your brain is gonna be mashed potato, and you're gonna be so burnt out that you never want to have that same conversation again. Because that's what happens. Like when we're in sales, when we're doing fulfillment, we're doing onboarding calls, we're just or coaching calls, we're just repeating ourselves over and over and over again. So if you do that for 6 months at 10 calls a day, I'm telling you this from personal experience, this from what I've seen from my clients after working with close to 400 different companies, you're gonna go through a burnout stage, and you want to avoid that, because once you get burned out, you get uninspired, you don't want to do shit. You're just like, oh my god, another call and another call, another call. So in order to prevent that, you need to have the right team in place to prevent that. Okay, so very, very important. Now, one thing I want to cover is the market saturated? Because I know a lot of people want to get into the funding space, and they usually ask me if the market is saturated. So what I want you to understand that there's a bunch of new businesses being born daily, right? So there's some stats for you. I actually have a video called "Is the Market Saturated?" If you want to look into that video, I literally talk about this in length. But the market is not saturated. You're pretty much selling an offer that is in very high demand, just because you're selling money. So it's not saturated. There's a bunch of businesses that we could sell to when it comes to business funding. So the market is not saturated. You can sell as much as this is possible, just because of the fact that the demand is so large when it comes to selling money. Okay. Now let's talk about what are the 5 things, or is it 5? Yeah, actually it is 5. Perfect. So let's talk about the 5 things that you don't like. If you want to fail in business, then do this. Okay. So let's call it that. How to fail in business. These are the 5 things you want to do. Okay. So number 1, never transition from doing to building systems. Now there are going to be some parallels between the 5 that you must do and the 5 you don't. So if you see some parallel, that's exactly why, because this like it's how do I say, it's truth all around. Okay. So number 1, never transition from doing to building. So that's exactly what I was talking about previously, that at 10K per month, you're just hustling. At 100K per month, it's math, it's systems, it's team. Okay. Almost every entrepreneur stays trapped in the doing aspect of this, right? They are marketers, they're a salesperson, the fulfillment department, and they never replace them themselves. So this is a common problem that I see at people when they're stuck between 10 to 20, even 30K per month, that they're pretty much running everything themselves, and they never got a chance to duplicate themselves, and they don't have any system, they don't have any SOPs, they have no teams, and they're wondering why they're getting burnt out and they can't scale. So if you want to, if your business can't grow without you, it's not a business. It's just a bottleneck. And essentially, I said this a couple times, that like if you're doing everything yourself and you have no employees, you have no system, you have no SOPs, you have like no strategy of growth, you don't have a business, you have a very high paying job, which is totally fine. Like I said before, if you want to just make 20, 30K per month and don't have a team and just kind of cruise and travel the world, hey, that's totally fine. We all have our different personalities and interests and wants in the world, but just let you know, that's not a business. That's just a really high paying job. A business becomes when you have systems, a team, you have SOPs, and all that good stuff. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because it's very important. Number 2, they ignore the compounding power of consistency. Very important. The winners do boring things long enough for them to compound. The losers constantly chase new tactics, new funnels, new offers. What they're missing is this: mastery is invisible repetition. Every big brand, every empire, every fortune was built on executing on the same thing well for a long time. So pretty much just doing the boring stuff over and over again. Consistency looks like boredom from the outside, but it's the quiet engine of wealth. Okay, so this actually is something from my personal experience. Sometimes for me that happens, I get really bored of the business. sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I'm not working as much. You know, everything is golden, and I feel like I need to either start something new or start a new funnel, or maybe change some of the ads, or maybe like, oh, should we do this? Should we like lower, increase the price? Should we all do low ticket? And this happens a lot when the business becomes boring, because we're so used to like doing busy work, right? When we're not doing busy work, we feel like we're doing something wrong. And it's something like, I think it's psychological, I guess, that we feel like when we're hitting certain numbers, like for me, when we're doing over 100K per month, you know, in profit, and sometimes like I'm not even involved in the business. Sometimes I'm working like 4 to 5 hours a week in the business, and to be completely real with you, sometimes I'm like, damn, am I like, should I, am I doing something wrong? Should I be working right now? You get me? Do I need to touch something? Do I need to like upload, like, you know, go to the ad manager? Do I need to like, you know, you start coming up with things because you're getting bored, you know. But think of the boredom in your business as a good sign. I mean, not if you're making no fucking money and you're completely miserable and not doing nothing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're already at 50, 100, 200, 300K per month, and you are not very active and it's becoming very boring. I see that as a good sign. I learned my lesson. When things get boring, is a really good sign, and that just tells me I need to, that it's easy right now. So try to run faster and try to grow, because pretty much it's easy right now to grow. Like, the work is boring, the work is predictable, it's just the same thing over and over again. So let's just scale it, right? And then when you're scaled, then we're gonna get back to a little bit more of excitement, because things are gonna break. So when things are getting really, really boring for me, I'm like, okay, how can we double or triple the business so I get back to like active work? Okay, so that's something you need to keep in mind as well, because I know people have problems with this issue, that when the business is just completely not stagnant, but just like the revenue is like flatlining, you're just doing the same revenue for a couple months. You feel like you get very bored. You're like, damn, I'm doing something wrong. But that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means the business is fully systemized. You have a team, a really good team in place, and the business is, you know, not growing, but it's stable, without you being involved, which is technically a really good thing. And a lot of people actually want this. It just, when we actually get there, we feel a little bit weird of, oh, am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing something in the business? Because I'm getting kind of bored here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Number three is they don't understand that people are a multiplier. Every system, every ad, every product eventually depends on people. Client, teams, partner. When entrepreneurs fail to lead, communicate, and inspire, everything under them decays. Your team will never outgrow your leadership. Your business will never out communicate your clarity, and your clients will never believe more than you do. Okay. The truth, you don't scale businesses, you scale people who scale businesses. This is, I love this, and I said this so many times, because and this is like literally what I was saying in the past couple minutes, that you need to start multiplying yourself. You need to start hiring people. You need to start learning how to lead. And if that's difficult for you, and another thing I want to say, I'm not talking about a fucking VA that you can hire for $3 in the Filipinos or in Colombia or in Argentina or whatever the fuck. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not a real employee. That's like a VA that you're hiring for dirt cheap. And then sometimes you wonder why they're doing a bad job. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody that is bought into your vision, somebody who has an actual salary, right? Somebody that is helping you build that business, because within your dream, within your goal, right? Their goal is inside of it, right? When you dream big enough, when the goal of the company is big enough that other people can fit their goals inside that dream, that's when you're being a good leader. What I mean by this is, like, let me just give you an example. Let's say you have a closer that his dream income is 10K per month, right? And you're like, okay, let's get to 100K per month, right? Like, help me get to 100K per month so I can pay you 10% of the 100K per month so you can finally make your 10K per month, right? So it's like you have your goal and your dream, and within that bubble, there's the closer's dream and goals, right? Which for him is to hit 10K per month. So when you have somebody like that is fully invested in your success, because they know if you reach a certain goal, they're gonna reach the personal goal that they have. That's when you know you have an actual team. That's when you know when you're building brand, you're building culture. That's when you know you have somebody next to you that is literally, you know, you're ride or die, essentially, that they're willing to go in there, get, you know, go into the, how do you say, like, get dirt, get, you know, go into and get dirty, do the dirty work or whatever it may be, right? Like, get down and dirty, how to say it. So like, it's like they're getting into your vision, they're buying into your vision, they're buying into your goal, they're getting the company culture, they understand it, they support you, they're also growing themselves, because if they know they grow themselves, the company grows, and we all make more money. Essentially, that means they make more money. That's a real employee. So it's not a VA that you hire in somewhere that you charge them in, you're paying them $3 an hour or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. So what I'm talking about is having somebody, an A player that you can rely on to build that dream business that you have, or that goal that you have in mind. Okay. So you don't, just remember this, you don't scale businesses, you scale people who scale businesses, right? That's the whole goal. If you could get there, I promise you, you're gonna. This is how the big people do it, like the Elon Musk, the Richard Branson, like the Steve Jobs, and all these people. Like they're all like this. They had a vision so big that their team's vision were building inside that dream or that goal, right? So you need to dream big enough so you can attract talent that their dreams are within your dreams. So that's why you gotta think big. You gotta have a large vision so other people can fit within that vision of yours. Okay. The next one is they don't understand how the long game actually is. Most people overestimate what they could do in a year, and they underestimate what they could do in 10. They quit a year or two right before the compounding starts because they expect instant validation. Business isn't in a sprint, it's a stamina test of patience, remission, and delayed gratification. The winners simply outlast everyone else. And this is, man, like, this is something that I try to preach as much as possible, and especially to people who are my clients, that they join, let's say, a mentorship, or they join a program, or they join a course, or whatever they may be, and they just instantly think about ROI, or when can I make my first $1 billion. And I'm like, dude, you don't even have a business yet, right? If you're making 5 to 10K per month, you don't even have a business yet. Why are you thinking about 100K per month? Why are you thinking about $1 million per month? Why are you thinking about, and I understand you want to have vision, you want to, okay, this is the goal, I know I'm right here, but I want to reach here, and I totally get that. But the thing is, we often are so stuck in the ROI, or when am I going to get results, that we don't think about, I need to build a business that is actually legit. I need to build the right foundations that I could actually then scale. Because most people, what they do when they get into a mentorship or a program, their mind just goes directly into, okay, so I just joined this program. In 2 weeks, I should be making 50K per month. And whoever the fuck is telling you that, I mean, they probably have something that I don't know about. So please let me know, if I can make some money as well. But every company that I have scaled to 6 figure months has taken some time, right? Now, it's getting easier because now this is the third company that got to 600K per month, and it took me like 2.5 months. The other company took me, the one before that, around 4.5 or 5 months, and then the one before that took me 8 months. So I definitely it took less and less time in each company to get 100K per month. But that's because I understood exactly what I need to do in order to reach those numbers. But I didn't go with the mindset of like, okay, I gotta get 100K per month in 2 weeks. I was, okay, let me build, what's the right offer? What is the right marketing strategy? What is my closing rate? What is the actual fulfillment look like? Okay, how many clients can we take in per month? How much do we got to spend to acquire our first client? I was like, what is going to be the sales mechanism? Is it going to be sales calls, DM funnel, webinar? You get me? I thought about all those things and optimized all those things. And that allowed me to hit the 6 figure per month in 2 months and a half. If I didn't think about it that way, I will be just running in circles. And most people, most entrepreneurs, they're not playing the long game. They're playing the, okay, I'm gonna do this in 3 months. That's why I don't take people serious. Like when I usually ask people what is the goal and what's the time frame they want to get there, this is how I separate the wannabes and the actual real business owners. Because if I ask you a question, hey, so by when do you want to solve this problem, and by when do you want to get to a certain revenue, and they say some fucking crazy shit like, hey, I want to uh I don't know, I want to hit 100K per month in the next 2 weeks, and they're making 5K per month. I'm just like, you're cooked, bro. You're fried. Like you don't even have the skills to even get there. That's another important thing. That skills take time to compound. And most people that once you're making under 10K per month, you have a skill problem. You don't have the right skills to achieve that level of revenue. If not, you would have been there. So that's why when I tell people that are very anxious to start getting ROI and results, I'm like, build the business first, build the foundation first, build the systems first, get everything in order, get everything in line. Think about the ads, think about the sales cycle, think about the client results, think about the funnels, think about the KPIs, think about all these things, not a revenue number, because the revenue will come after you fix these problems in businesses. And there's a problem that I see constantly, especially in the educational and the informational world of coaches, mentoring, and courses. Everybody wants to get an ROI the day that they joined. And most of the people that have that mentality are usually new entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that never got into 5 or 10K per month. You know, they just go back. They offer hop a bunch of times and then they can't pass a certain level. I actually seen this at 10K per month, at 20K per month, and even 30K per month, that people just offer hop every single time and they cannot get to pass a certain revenue level because they don't know exactly what needs to be there. I see this. Fuck, man, the amount of time I see this is incredible. And sometimes I just look at them like, the reason why you couldn't scale because you don't actually have the skills that you need in order to scale that business. You don't know what it takes to scale that business. So that's why people offer hop and then go to the next new shining thing in order, because they think, okay, I'm gonna make more money in this industry. But ideally, you can make money in every industry. It's just the amount of energy that you're gonna put into that industry and when you want to get out of it. So essentially, you need to start playing the long game. You can't stop thinking about, okay, I'm gonna build $1 billion a month business in 2 weeks. That's not gonna happen. Anybody who's selling you that is selling you bullshit. And I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm telling you, I'm giving it to you as it is. I'm always extremely transparent. I'm always extremely truthful, especially with my clients, on my calls, on my coaching calls, even on my sales calls. Like if you book a call with us and by any chance you got to speak to me instead of my sales team, I'm extremely transparent. I'm extremely brutal and tell you how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm going to treat you like a responsible adult. And if you give me some crazy expectation that is completely delusional, I'm gonna tell you on the call, and then you can go to somebody else that they could lie to you and tell you, yes, yes, no, it could totally happen. Then you're gonna pay them, then that's not gonna happen, and then you're gonna pretty much prove me right because I know what the hell I'm talking about. Before thinking about the ROI, before thinking about I need to make 100K per month, you need to start thinking, okay, what is the skills do I need to get? What are the skills and what are the system I need to build or gain, right? So from skill point of view, what are the skills I need to get and what are the system I need to build in order to have the right foundation to actually scale the business correctly, not the other way around. All right, you don't get to 100K per month and then start getting the skills. That does not happen. That's putting like the, how do they say that old saying? It's like, oh, you're putting the cart in front of the horse. It doesn't really work that way. Okay, so be very mindful of this. It's a common mistake across the board, especially with new entrepreneurs or less experienced business owners, that they think that it's going to take literally a month for them to compound all the skills that they have to make a gazillion dollars. It's not going to happen. Okay, it takes time. Now, the last ones is they confuse movement with progress. Most people are busy, not productive. They fill up the calendar, build funnels, take calls, post content, but nothing actually moves. The core metric that matters, profit, right? Motion gives an illusion of progress. Results reveal the truth. The best measure impact, not activity, and cut out everything that does push the needle forward. Busyness is the most social acceptable form of procrastination. This, oh man, I love all of these because this is something that I'm constantly preaching to people. So that's why I wanted to make it in the video, because this is what the thing that I was talking about. Sometimes when we feel like it's boring, so they feel like they need to just move things around because they want to keep the mind busy. But essentially, you're just destroying the business, because every time you move something in the business, revenue could drop, right? Because everything was working and then you move some things around. Maybe you change the funnel, maybe you change the headline, maybe you change the ad, maybe you told your closer, hey, start closing like this, or maybe you increase the price, or maybe you lower the price, or maybe you have now 3 offers instead of 1 because you want to make more money. Whatever the deal is, right? We start moving stuff and breaking stuff because we think that doing activities is actually creating progress. But no, movement, they confuse movement with progress. It's not the same thing. That's why you got to track your KPIs like a mofo, because this is how the business communicate with you, right? Like the business can't, the business can be like, hey, mother effer, like I'm dying here. You need to give me more book calls. Or hey, mother effer, like your closing rate is way too low. We need to increase our closing rate in order to be more profitable, right? The business is never going to tell you that. But how does the business communicate with you is through KPIs, is through numbers and percentages, right? So that's why you need to look at your actual percentages, right? And then that's what you need to work on. not what you think you need to do in order to scale the business. It's just you look at your KPIs, and then from there, you can start making decisions on what to do and what needs to be optimized. Like, let's say if your closing rate is too low, fix that first. If your closing rate is too low, fix that second. If your cost per book call is ridiculously high, then let's fix the cost per book call. If people are not qualified and you're getting a bunch of shitty leads, fix the marketing problem. If people are not getting funded or getting denied left and right, okay, we got to optimize our funding sequence. What are the banks? What are they currently saying? What is the new updates? Whatever it is, you need to start fixing the bottlenecks of the business by actually looking at your numbers, looking at your percentages, and then making decisions from there. Not just being busy for the sake of being busy. And again, the amount of times that I hear somebody that are working their ass off and they're making 5K per month, it is crazy. Everybody tells me that they're the hardest worker in the world, that they just working nonstop. But if they're working nonstop, then how come the business is not growing? It's because they're not focused on revenue generating activities. What are the things that generate revenue? What are the things that optimize the business if I can make more money? That is what you should be focused on, right? Because again, just because you're working or just doing busy work does not mean that's the work needed in order to grow the business, right? And this is something that like I didn't really have a problem with, but I'm seeing sometimes even my top clients have a problem with this. That they're already making 100, 200, 300K per month, and then they say they're working all day. And I'm like, kids, but what are you working on? You get me? And they're like, oh, I'm working on this. I'm like, bro, stop, delete all of that, right? Where's the goal of the business? Okay, you want to double the business? Okay, let's focus on marketing and sales, and then of course client results. So those are the things. If you want to double or triple the business, let's say if you're 100K per month and go to 200, it's technically optimizing the funnels and marketing and the ads, optimizing the sales, closing rate, show up rate, cash collected, and then also having the team to fulfill on those services. Because if you're scaling and you want to double the business, I mean, you can have double the clients. So you also need to optimize for that. All right. So those are the 5 things that I see people making a huge mistake on, or don't even think about this. Okay. Now let's talk about what is the blueprint, right? What is the roadmap if you want to hit 100K per month? So this is the good stuff. This is probably one of the reasons why you guys stay for as long as this video. So let's get to it. Okay. So from stage 10 to 30K per month, goal is consistent inbound flow and validated offer. Okay. So you need to prove that your offer works consistently and be sold without, let me kind of move to the left, your personal story carrying the weight. This means that your offer itself can sell without you even being involved. This is what I was saying why business funding is such a good offer, because imagine like the demand is a river, right? Just flowing. And the demand for this is business funding, right? They need capital to scale. All you're doing is standing in the middle of that river where the flow is coming to you. It's something that is high on demand, and all you're doing is putting yourself in front of that demand. So that's a scalable offer. So that's, if you want to go 10 to 30K, you need to have a scalable offer. You need something that people is in high demand, and all you got to do is put yourself in front of that traffic, in front of that demand, so you can scale your business. Okay. What to build? One high ticket offer from $3,000 to $10,000 that solve a painful specific problem. Focus on outcome. Get 50K and 0% funding. Now process. Learn the credit game. So this is just like results more driven, like driven results offer, right? Because this one, learn the credit game. You can't, we don't know if they're gonna actually learn it and actually implement it. But if you say, hey, get approved for 50 to 100 or 250 grand in funding, it's results driven marketing. So that sells more, right? Now, this is a sale mechanism. You need either a DM funnel or VSL funnel that generates qualified leads into your pipeline, into your system, into your calendar. Now, you got to use paid ads. I mean, this is the only way I know how to scale, unless you go completely viral. And the people that I've talked to that have gone really, really viral, they told me that they're like, yeah, I went viral, but only like less than 1% people converted, which, because then this one is like, it's very difficult, because you do want to go a little bit viral, but not too much, because if you push it over the edge, then you're going to get a bunch of unqualified people to land in your landing page, to interact with your ad account or whatever it may be, which will actually tank your results when it comes to paid advertisement, right? So when you go viral, the percentage of people who actually, let's say if you get 1 million views, right? The percentage of those person actually being your actual client to give you money to start the funding, whatever it may be, whatever the offer is is so dramatically low. That's why people are saying, and the people that I talk to that actually have reels that gone like 2 million, 3 million views, they're like, there's some of them that didn't even make any money, that they actually just got a bunch of random followers that never did anything. So going viral is very difficult to scale a business, and it's very unpredictable because do you have a viral formula? And a lot of people say that they do, but it's not really consistent. They have a formula. It's like having ads that work, right? I have a formula that I know what ads work, but they don't hit every single time. We gotta just make ads, and then with the formula that we're using, and then 1 or 2 or 3 out of 10, then they hit. Same thing with organic content, right? So meta ads, 5 to 10 creatives, right? This is like usually the standard. Spending at least $100-$200 a day. This will get you to the 30K per month. Okay. Then you also need a calendar and a CRM, go high level or Close.io to track your leads, call and close. Okay. Your role, you're still the closer. You're doing your own follow-ups. You're doing your own messaging. You're doing pretty much everything. So from 10 to 30K per month, you're essentially one band man. But this is around the 25 to 30K per month. This is when you got to start hiring. So if you're already doing 20, 30K per month and you don't have an employee yet, this is when you got to start looking for an appointment setter or and also somebody to do your fulfillment for you, right? So you can just focus on marketing and sales. Now, key metrics: 20 book calls a month, closing rate 20 to 35%. Now, cost to acquire could vary from 1,000 to 1.5 if you're doing upfront payment. So from 4K to 10K. But if you're doing back end 10%. So you get somebody funded, you charge them 10% of the fund. This could go even lower. This could be from 500 to 750. All right, so that's pretty much, if you're charging 10%, should be 500, 750 cost to acquire. If you're doing up from hey, you got to pay me up front, from 750 or so to 1,500. All right, depending on the price. If you're charging 10 grand, it's probably gonna be 1.5 or even a little bit over on that. Also really depends on your closing rate. That's why I say from 25 to 35. So if it's 35, it's gonna be closer to 1K. If it's 20 to 25, it's gonna be like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. It could be even 2 grand if you have a really bad closing rate. Okay. Biggest trap is doing too much too soon. New offer, new funnels, or new chasing volume without optimizing your core sales process. So pretty much it's a common theme in this video. You need to optimize before you scale. If not, you're just scaling and breaking stuff, and it's gonna cost you a lot more because you didn't optimize your KPIs. Okay. Now, stage 2, from 20K to 50K, predictable client flow, leverage through system, core focus. You now have a proven offer, time to turn into a machine. So if you're already doing 30 to 50K per month, this means your offer is solid, that you're already, the demand is there. So you're proving product market fit, which again, this video is mainly for people who are using funding as a service, or people who are in the credit, tax, or insurance that want to add business funding as a service. So, I could tell you right now, you don't got to do this. I already told you that there's already product market fit because all of the clients that we have, and including my own company, that we're able to scale to this size. So it's definitely there. Okay. But there's just something that, if you're not in the space, to think about. Now, predictable paid ad system. Launch 10 to 20 creative at all times. So like pretty much live. Weekly creative refresh. Start tracking CTR, cost per lead, and book calls. Very important. Without these KPIs, makes it almost impossible to scale to 6-figure months. So you need to start tracking these KPIs, okay? Now, 2, dedicated closer and setter. You stop taking every call. This is also important because you need to start now focusing on the team. Remember, if you want to scale a company, you need to move away from where was it? Oh wow, I have more. Oops. Let's quickly go over. I'm so sorry. I thought I only have 5, but I guess I have 7. Okay, 6. They stop involving when they start earning. Oh damn, I can't believe I missed this one. I made this like maybe like 4 days ago, so I completely forgot about them. Okay, number 6. They stop evolving once they start earning. So money blinds founders faster than failure. Once the cash starts flowing in, comfort creeps in, and they stop learning, adapting, and innovating. They forget that what got them there won't get them to where they want to be. Okay, the gray ones never retire from curiosity. They study new models, new people, new rules, because they know stagnation is in disguise of decay. Right, the moment you stop being a student, the market starts to teaching you through pain. Extremely important as well, guys. You like, what I like to do is at least 10% of all my budget, I wanted to go through education, and depending if you're making more and more, that 10% gets, of course, larger. So you can invest into bigger masterminds, bigger events, bigger mentorships, and bigger people in this space to help you. So don't ever stop buying mentorship. Don't ever stop buying courses. Don't ever stop buying books. I have books all over my house, all over my mom's house. And of course in the office, my wife's office, I have books literally everywhere, because they have impacted me so much, and I've gotten so much value from those little $20 or $10 books that is insane. So don't ever start educating yourself. The moment that you do, the business is going to outgrow you, or you're going to stay stagnant, which is not a good sign. Okay. And lastly, your business will never outgrow your personal capacity to lead it. Every level of growth exposes a new version of you that's required. You don't lose your business because the market changed, ads stop working, or clients vanish. Those are surface level systems. You lose because your internal operation system didn't evolve as fast to match the external opportunity. This is fucking huge. The bottleneck is never the team, the system, or the strategy. Is the leader capacity to think clearly under pressure, make decisions without emotions, and hold a higher standard when things get chaotic. Every time you want to expand, the universe is telling you to test first. Your patience, your discipline, your vision. Your ability to lead will lead people when you're uncertain of yourself. The moment you level up internally, everything around recognizes to match it. Businesses don't collapse from lack of opportunity. They collapse under the weight of the leader who didn't expand fast enough to carry to the next level. Rough, like very, very deep. And this is exactly what I was saying. You need to start educating yourself. You need to start. There's a time, and I'm gonna be completely real with you, that when I was scaling my company, the first time that I started doing 6 figure per month, then 150, then 200, I generally felt for a little bit. I'm like, damn, this business is outgrowing me, because I had such a good offer, that the demand was there. I was one of the only people in the space promoting this solution to the problem. So my company grew very, very quickly. But I sometimes felt, I was like, damn, I feel like this business, I'm not the right person for this business, because fuck, it's such a massive opportunity. I feel like I don't have the right skill sets to grow the business. So I felt internally that the business was outgrowing me. How did I fix this? I started talking to people who are doing way better than me, people who are doing half a mil per month, a mil per month, 2 mil per month. And those people will give me insights and things that are coming up in business, and come and kind of like reassure me that, hey, look, learn this, do this. This is what you're gonna come across. This is what you gotta avoid. Remember this, track this KPI, and that gave me more confidence to keep growing the business. So this is something that you gotta be extremely real to yourself. Like, you can't lie to yourself about this. And the amount of people that are doing 5 to 10K per month, and they're not educating themselves or learning what needs to be to get to the next level, it's just insane. Almost everybody out there. And the thing, they buy one mentorship, they get to 10, 20K per month, and they stop investing in themselves. Don't do that. Don't be one of these people. You need to invest in yourself. The more you invest in yourself, the more opportunities you see, the more doors open up, the more people you meet, the clearer you get to see the business, the future of your business. Okay, so don't stop doing that. Now back to what I was saying, that what was the name of this one? You don't scale businesses, you scale people who scale businesses. So back to what I was saying, that you need to start building a team that you can manage and give them the, oh, I wasn't sharing my screen, I'm sorry, but pretty much that you don't scale businesses, you scale people who scale businesses. So this is what I was saying. If you want to get to that next level and go to above 50K per month, you need to start taking every call and building every script. You dedicate closers and setters, right? So at this level, around 50K per month, you want to hire a closer and setter. You need to stop taking every call. You need to build training scripts and objection databases. So you got to start building that team that you can manage, so they could grow, so they can help you grow the business, so you can focus on the actual bottlenecks of the business, things that they can focus on, okay? Client delivery framework, SOP for onboarding, delivering updates, and case studies. Automations to handle 80% of recurring tasks. Again, this is when you need to start building that, your Avengers team. This is when you got to start having an appointment setter, a closer, and even a team to fulfill on your services, right? Also, you need to start tracking data. This is even more like in front of the, if you're not tracking at this rate, I don't know how the hell you got to 50K per month, but you need to start tracking your leads, your calls, your show up rate, your closing rate, your revenue, your profit, your average cash on hand. You need to start tracking all this stuff, because if you don't, you don't have pretty much the math to hit 100K per month. Because essentially, once you hit 50K per month, you have all the data you need to hit 100K per month, right? Because let's say, if, for example, you're doing 50K per month and you spend 10K per month to do 50K per month, right? And let's say you, out of that 10K, you booked, let's say 50 calls, you have a 30% closing rate and X, Y, and Z. Now we know what it takes to make 50 grand. You gotta at least spend 10 grand, get 50 calls at X amount closing rate to make that 50K, right? So what we do is we wanna condense that data into in 2 weeks, in 14 days. So instead of spending 10 grand in 1 month, we want to spend 10 grand in 14 days so we can make 50 grand in 14 days, right? Because we already have our data. So let's say if you do 50K per month for 2 months in a row, you now, and then you can confirm that the data is not, it wasn't a one time off, or it's not like or it was just, it was a fluke, right? Essentially, if you do it 50K, let's say on January, and then 50K on February, and then 50K on March, now you're like, okay, we're consistent, we have our data. Now all you gotta do is condense that data so you can hit 100K per month. Okay, so your role is to run ads, manage CRM, and manage the team. You close some calls for start coaching setters and closers. You refine your fulfillment and testimonials, right? So this where exactly you need to start building your team. And don't, when you do hire a closer, don't give them every single sales calls in the beginning. They need to start shadowing you, as I say it, for you. They could see you closing teams, and then you start giving them, let's say, bottom 10% of the leads. Then you give them 20%, then you give them a 30%, so it gets to like half and half. And then once you're confident that this individual could close up to a 25 to 30% closing rate, that's when you give them access to the full calendar, so they can start closing on you. Because you don't want to, let's say, hire a closer, put him right in, and then since you're the actual MVP of the business, you're the one bringing all the revenue, and you push somebody that is the first time doing this, or not the first time being a salesperson, but the first time selling your offer, the revenue is going to tank, because it might take like a month for that individual to adjust. Sometimes it could take longer than that. So you got to be, very mindful of this stuff. Okay. Key metrics: CAC below 115, one closer or setter trained, one fulfillment assistant onboarded. Biggest trap: still running everything manually. You must replace effort with systems here, not more hours. So again, a reoccurring theme in this video, that at some point you need to start hiring people that you can rely on and trust, so they could grow the business and you can focus on pretty much managing that. All right. Now, from 50 to 100K per month, scale with people, data, and leadership. Okay. Core focus. Now the bottleneck is you. You can't do it all. And the only way forward is through replication and leverage. Again, you need to start building a team. So 1 or 2 closers and 1 or 2 setters. One closer can realistically bring like 80 to 150 grand. So it all depends on the closing rate, how much revenue you're bringing. It could be 1 closer and 2 setters, or 2 closers and 2 setters. So depending actually on your cost to acquire, your closing rate, and the amount of volume that you're getting, that will dictate how many team you need to have when it comes to sales. Okay. Daily KPI reporting: cost per book call, show up rate, closing rate, cash collected, very important. Marketing machine: 20 to 30 creative live at any time, meaning you're spending at least 10 to 20 grand a month with at least 10 to 30 creatives inside the ads manager. This will this will bring down the likelihood of ads getting ad fatigue. The more creative are being diversified, the better, especially with a new update of Andromeda. This is even more apparent. Okay. At this level, you can start split testing hooks, visuals, angles weekly. Dedicate ad manager or VA to handling uploads. So this is something, if you don't want to do this, you could definitely delegate it. I still do it myself because I kind of like it. So it's something that I don't mind doing, but you can delegate as well. Delivering team plus SOPs. Replace yourself with client onboarding entirely. Build a client success scoreboard and update on a dashboard weekly. Again, you need to start if you want to hit 50K plus, you need to have a team in place. I already said in this video a couple times, but one more time. You need to start building a team if you want to scale. Okay. Leadership and cash management: build reserves and reinvest into the team and ad spend. Hire for outcome, not hours. Sell weekly. Set weekly meetings: marketing, sales, and fulfillment. So you got to be, actually, I should put here not weekly. I'm sorry, daily. because I meet with my team daily every morning, just to go over everything. And sometimes at the end of the day, if we need to do and cover anything, we do another team. Okay. Now your role, you're CEO, not technician. You focus on vision, team culture, data review, and growth projects. So this is the main role you got to do when you're doing 100K per month. Okay. Key metric: 10K a day in predictably cash collected. So this is, I mean, this is very high. It shouldn't, I'll honestly, I would say it should be around 2K or so. 2K, um, 2.5, I would say, to be really, to make that 100 grand cash collected around, let me see, let me do the math right now. 2.5 times 30, which, oh no, it's 75. Whoops, I was wrong. So I guess, no, damn, it's actually 3.5. Sorry about that. So around 3K to 3.5 in cash collected every day. So pretty much making, if it will average it will average out at the end of the month. If you're tracking your data correctly, it will tell you how much you're cash collecting per call, but it should be around 3K or so. Okay. Now profit margins. Even with a large team, you should be at 40 to 50% profit margins. This is a very profitable business because at the end of the day, you're selling a service. There's no actual product or physical product that you're selling. So there's no product cost. There's no shipping cost. There's no storage cost. So when you have like a place in storage and stuff like that, so all that saves you like a 20 to 30% profit margin that other businesses will not have. So be focused on profits because you're in an industry that is extremely profitable. I mean, making 50%, I think actually some clients do a 70% profit margin because they keep the team very lean. Okay, so fully systemized client experience. This is something you actually have to do. There's no doubts or buts about it. If you don't have a predictable system or a systemized system that is predictable and your clients are happy with, very difficult to scale the fulfillment side. Okay. Biggest trap, thinking 100K per month is about working more. It's about removing yourself from everything except leadership, marketing, vision, and decision making. So pretty much at this point, setting is delegated, right? You hire somebody. Sales is delegated. Fulfillment is delegating, and all you're focusing is optimizing, marketing, leaderships, growing the company, KPIs, and making sure we're on track to hit whatever, like another 100K next month, right? So if you hit your first 100K per month, now your job is to review everything on a daily and weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, so you can know next month you can hit your other 100K and be consistent. And then once you do that, 2 or 3 months in a row, you're ready to like double or triple up again. Okay, so that's it for this video. It is this one we did go a little bit long, but I hope you got tremendous value of it. I kind of cover everything you need to think about and know before hitting to 100K per month. And this pretty much things that we go over on a program. What we do is that we hire what we do in a program is that we train pretty much if let's say if you're interested in going from 10K to 100K per month, the main thing that we do after we build all the funnels, after we build all the system, after we pretty much give your entire system in a box, is to train you and give you the skills that you need in order to scale the business. Because remember what I said earlier, if you try to scale a business to 6 figure per month, the main thing you got to be focused about is having the right foundation, right? What is foundation? The right skill set and the right systems in order to get to that level. Because if you don't have those first, you'll never get to 100K per month. And that is what my whole program is about. It's not only you giving you the system and showing them to you and building out for you, but it's also giving you and training you the skills that you do need in order to hit that 100K per month goal.